Hello everyone, this is Rupesh again. Today I'll be discussing addition reactions in Unit 2 of Paper 202 Organic Chemistry. Addition reactions. Let's discuss addition to carbon-carbon multiple bonds definition. An addition reaction in organic chemistry is a reaction where two or more molecules combine to form a larger molecules. Then the simplest possible equation is molecule A adds to molecule B to give a larger molecule which is AB. Coming to classification, addition reactions are classified into three categories. First one is polar addition reaction, next the cycloaddition reaction, and the third one is free radical addition reactions. Now let's see one after the other. Coming to the polar addition reactions, the name itself indicates polar addition of a polar molecule. That is, ethylene adds to hydrogen bromide or hydrobromic acid. This is a polar molecule to give a bromoethane. Coming to the second example, ethylene adds to bromine, that is Br2, to give dibromoethane. Coming to the mechanism of bromination, I have chosen the mechanism for bromination. That is, there is an ethylene. This double bond attacks bromide with the elimination of bromide ion. Since I have told you this bromine also acts as a polar molecule, that is, one of the bromine possesses a delta positive and the other bromide possesses a delta negative. Hence it forms a carbocation. And the lone pairs on bromine attacks this carbon which neutralizes the carbocation to form a bromonium ion. This is called a bromonium ion. And the eliminated bromide ion attacks this carbon with the formation of a dibromoethane. And even the bromide ion can attack this position also, this carbon, with the bond breakage between this carbon and bromide to form the same dibromoethane. Coming to the next one, cycloaddition reactions. That is, this is a diene, butadiene reacts with maleic anhydride to form a cycloadduct, which this reaction is also called as cycloaddition reaction, which is a good example for Diels-Alder cycloaddition reaction. This is a butadiene. This is generally called a diene, and this ethylene is generally called as dienophile. That is, diene reacts with dienophile to give a cyclic product, that is hexene, cyclohexene. Coming to the next reaction, free radical addition reactions, that is, which goes through the mechanism of free radical reaction. This is isobutylene reacts with hydrogen bromide in the presence of dibenzoyl peroxide catalyst to form secondary butyl bromide. And coming to the second one, without catalyst, the same reaction without catalyst will get tertiary butyl bromide. The first one is anti-Markovnikov's rule, which follows anti-Markovnikov's rule, and the second one which strictly follows Markovnikov's rule. The polar addition reactions is classified into two categories, that is electrophilic addition reaction and nucleophilic addition reaction. Coming to electrophilic addition reaction, that is, this is an ene. This ene reacts with a polar molecule to form the corresponding product. Coming to mechanism, you will get, that is tetramethyl ethylene. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tetramethyl ethylene reacts with an electrophile. Since I have told you this is a polar molecule, this double bond attacks the electrophile. We get a corresponding carbocation. And next the nucleophile comes and attacks this carbocation to form a corresponding alkane. And the first step is generally a rate determining step, which is a slow step. The most important electrophilic addition reaction are hydrohalogenation, that is addition of HX. To be simple, addition of HCl or HBr across double bond. The product will be this one, the addition of HX across the double bond. And next one is halogenation, that is addition of X2, to be simple, chlorine or bromine across double bond, and this is the product you will get after halogenation. The third one is hydration, addition of water molecule across double bond, and we get this product. The last one is last one is hydroboration, that is addition of borane BH3, borane, BHC, it's not a boron, it's a borane, addition of borane across double bond, we get this molecule. Coming to the first one, hydrohalogenation addition reactions. The hydrogen atom ends up attached to the carbon of the double bond that has the more hydrogens to start with. That is, it is the statement for the Markovnikov's rule. The Markovnikov rule states that the hydrogen atom ends up attached to the carbon of the double bond that has the more hydrogens to start with. This is the reaction of this is the typical reaction for the Markovnikov's rule. That is, isobutylene reacts with HBr, which is a polar molecule, to give tertiary butyl bromide. Coming to mechanism, this double bond attacks the hydrogen, the formation of a carbocation, and the eliminated bromide attacks the carbocation to form a tertiary butyl bromide. And you can see, according to the statement, H adds to this carbon but not to this carbon. That is, the statement says the hydrogen ends up attached to the carbon of the double bond that has the more hydrogens. This carbon has a more hydrogens than this one. Hence, the hydrogen attaches to this carbon and bromide attaches to this carbon. Therefore, this addition reaction is in accordance with the Markovnikov's rule. Coming to the note, this reaction also shows that there is a formation of tertiary carbocation, and the stability of carbocation is, that is, tertiary carbocation is more stable than secondary, which is more stable than primary. That is, tertiary carbocation is more stable compared to secondary and primary. The above mechanism is a simple one to illustrate the addition of hydrogen halides to alkenes. However, theoretically, there are three mechanisms proposed. That is, electrophilic addition mechanism, ion pair mechanism, concerted mechanism. Let's see one after the other. Coming to the electrophilic addition mechanism, in this mechanism, a discrete carbocation is formed as an intermediate. That is, a tetramethyl ethylene reacts with electrophile, which is a rate determining step, which is a slow step, which forms a carbocation. This, under very low temperature, we get a cis addition. That is, nucleophile attacks from the top side. Whereas in the room temperature, the nucleophile attacks from the downside, we get an anti-addition, and this is trans. This is SS, which is a syn addition. Coming to the ion pair mechanism, a double bond attacks electrophile with the subsequent formation of a carbocation, and then reacts with nucleophile, which forms an ion pair. This is an ion pair which collapses to form a corresponding product. That is a syn addition. In this mechanism, a tight ion pair exists between the carbocation and a nucleophile. That is, as I said, you can see a tight ion pair exists between a carbocation and a nucleophile. This is called an ion pair mechanism. Coming to the concerted mechanism, and you can see there will be three molecules once attached to it will be in the same thing. This mechanism is a termolecular mechanism. That is, there will be three molecules attached, and the rate equation is given by dissociation constant into alkane into HX twice. The above all the three mechanism explains electrophilic addition reaction. Coming to the first example, this styrene reacts with HCl to form a chlorophenyl ethane. That is chlorophenyl ethane. This also follows an Markovnikov's rule. Coming to the second example, this ene reacts with HCl. It forms a two products, that is at low temperature it forms a syn addition, at room temperature it forms a trans, that is an anti addition. All these addition reactions are always carried out in tetrachlorocarbon, that is CCl4. Coming to the first example, this cyclohexene reacts with HCl. In CCl4 solvent we get chlorohexane. Coming to the second one, same reaction, that is cyclohexene reacts with HCl. In the presence of a polar solvent, that is acetic acid, we get a two products, mixture of products, that is cyclohexane acetate and chlorocyclohexane. Protic solvents such as acetic acid, methanol, ethanol and water should be completely avoided as it leads to unwanted byproducts as shown in the example 2. That is here, which gives cyclohexyl acetate as a byproduct instead of a single product. Coming to the first example, this double bond reacts with an HBr, we get an corresponding product. Coming to the second one, this norbornene reacts with HCl, which forms an endo product, endochloronorbornene. And the same fused benzene reacts with an HCl, which forms a corresponding chloro compound. And even this compound reacts with HBr, which forms an corresponding bromo compound. These are the examples of hydrohalogenation reaction. Coming to the next one, dihalo addition reaction, that is halogenation. Chlorine exists as a chloride positive as well as chloride negative in the solution, whereas bromine also exists in Br plus and Br minus in the solvent. Therefore, this bromine and chlorine exist with a polar covalent bond. Coming to the first one, that is this substituted ethylene reacts with bromine to give dibromo compound, corresponding dibromo compound. Mechanism. Robert and Kimball proposed a mechanism as follows, that is, which I said before, this double bond attacks a bromine because one of the bromine gets a positive charge and the other bromine have a delta negative, which forms a corresponding carbocation, and the lone pairs on bromine which attacks this carbocation to form a bromonium ion, and eliminated bromine ion attacks this carbon to form a dibromo compound. And thus Robert and Kimball proposed for a first time the formation of a three-membered transition state which collapses to form a trans adduct. This is the three-membered transition state, which is a bromonium ion. The isolation of a stable solid and X-ray conclusively prove the formation of a three-membered transition state. Coming to the second example, this cyclohexene reacts with bromine to give exclusively a trans dibromo cyclohexane, that is a anti-addition. Kinetic studies gave a rate equation as below, and here you can see the rate is an addition of an This is a rate equation of a polar molecule, polar addition reaction, and this is a rate equation of an concerted mechanism, and this is a rate equation for ion pair mechanism. As this rate equation clearly shows that the bromine addition goes through all the three mechanisms. That is, bromine addition goes through even polar addition plus concerted mechanism plus ion pair mechanism. Coming to the effect of temperature, at room temperature the exclusive product is trans only, whereas at very low temperature 1% of syn addition, which is negligible, 99% of product is formed with the formation of 1% of syn addition, which is negligible. From this it is clear that all bromination undergoes trans addition. Coming to effect of solvent, all the above reactions have to be carried out in a non-polar solvents such as tetrachlorocarbon. Protic solvents are to be avoided. For example, if water is used as a solvent, that is cyclohexene reacts with bromine, in the presence of water we get an bromohydrine. This is a bromohydrine compound. As I said in the previous example, you will get, if you use the same reaction, if you continue the same reaction in acetic acid, you get an acetate. Since water is used as a solvent here, you get an bromohydrine. Yeah, here if you use an acetic acid, you get an acetate. So you will get a mixture of products. Instead of a dibromo, you get an bromohydrine as well as bromoacetate. Coming to the chlorination reaction now. Till now we studied bromination, now we will see the chlorination. That is, tetramethyl ethylene reacts with chlorine to form a trans product, and this is the second example, and this is the third one. From all these studies it is clear that only trans addition takes place with the formation of a trans addition as that of a bromination. Kinetic studies for the chlorination reaction gave the rate equation as below. The rate is equal to K into alkane into chlorine molecule, which is only a pure addition reaction. That is, this rate equation clearly shows that a chlorination addition goes through a pure polar addition reaction, whereas in the bromination it goes through all the three mechanisms such as polar, concerted and ion pair, whereas in chlorination it's just a pure polar addition reaction. Chlorination reactions are very much faster than bromination reaction. Coming to the stereochemistry, this styrene reacts with an halogen to form a mixture of compounds, that is R and S, that is a racemic mixture, that is equal amount of both products are formed, and this is a R and this is a S. And pentene reacts with water, that is acidified water, to get, here also we get a mixture of an isomers, that is a racemic mixture, that is equal amount of both S and R is formed. In all these cases it is said that a mixture of, that is a racemic mixture, is formed. Coming to the third example, this molecule reacts with an HBr, that is at very low temperature. We get an mixture of compounds, that is DLL. Even from the top attack, if the bromine attacks from the top, it is called a top. If it attacks from the bottom, it is called a bottom attack. In this addition reaction, the attack may be either top phase or bottom phase. Top phase is also called as psi, and whereas bottom phase is also called as re phase. The addition is always syn because the reaction is carried out at low temperature. In this case also, a mixture of compounds, that is 1:1 DL mixture, is obtained. From this, it is clear that all the addition reaction always form a racemic mixtures. That is, final product mixture doesn't show any reaction of plain polarized light. Coming to nucleophilic addition reaction. Electrophilic addition reaction can take place to carbon-carbon multiple bonds. However, nucleophilic addition reaction normally takes place to the carbonyl group. The carbonyl group is the most standard functional group in organic chemistry. This is the general structure for the carbonyl group. Due to the electronegativity of oxygen, the carbonyl group is polarized as, and this carbon gets a delta positive, oxygen gets a delta negative. Nucleophilic attack takes place easily on the carbonyl carbon as shown here, that is nucleophile attacks this carbonyl carbon with the formation of a negative charge on the oxygen. The simplest possible example of nucleophilic addition reaction to carbonyl group is an hydration reaction, that is addition of water molecule across carbonyl group. That is a lone pair on oxygen, the water molecule attacks this carbonyl group with the formation of a negative charge on the oxygen to form this corresponding product. This on proton shift, that is 1 2 3 1 3 shift, that is this oxygen takes this proton which neutralizes this positive charge to form a diol. And coming to the example, acetone reacts with water to form an acetone hydrate. And this is the reason why acetone and water form completely miscible solutions. Once hydrate is formed, two compounds can never be separated. That is, acetone and water cannot be separated. Note, generally, most carbonyl compounds react with water to form the corresponding hydrates. Coming to electromeric effect, this is the permanent displacement of a pi bond in the presence of an attacking reactive species is called electromeric effect. The hydration of carbonyl compounds is catalyzed by acid or base, therefore the rate of an reaction increases. And even the hydration of a carbonyl compounds is the best example for an electromeric effect. Water may also be replaced by derivatives of water such as alcohols or phenols. These alcohols or phenols can also attack the carbonyl compound. Let's see the formation of hemiacetals or hemiketals. That is, derivative of an water is an alcohol. That is, lone pairs on oxygen attacks a carbonyl compound which forms this corresponding product. That is, as I said, 1 3 proton shift. This negative charge on oxygen attacks this proton to form a corresponding hemiacetal or hemiketal. If aldehyde is a substrate, that is, if this is an aldehyde, you get an hemiacetal. If this is an ketone, you get an hemiketal as a product. This alcohol, methanol, reacts with acetone to we get a corresponding product which on proton shift we get an hemiketal. Since the substrate is a ketone, we get an hemiketal. Whereas formaldehyde reacts with methanol, we get an hemiacetal. This is an aldehyde substrate, hence we get an hemiacetal. Now let's see the formation of acetals or ketals. The hemiacetal from the previous reaction reacts with an alcohol in the presence of an acid, we get acetal or ketal. Hemiacetals, when reacts with excess of alcohol in a presence of a dehydrating agent, undergoes condensation reaction to form acetals or ketals as shown. That is, formaldehyde reacts with methanol, we get an hemiacetal, which are shown in the previous slide. This reacts with one more molecule of methanol. In the presence of a concentrated sulfuric acid, we get an methylal. That is, it is an hemiacetal. This formaldehyde first adds to methanol. Formaldehyde methyl alcohol, that is hemiacetal, which is a methyl. This is an hemiacetal is formed. Then this, upon further reaction with a second equivalent of methanol in the presence of a concentrated sulfuric acid, gives methylal with the elimination of one equivalent of water. Let's see the mechanism for formation of acetals. This is an hemiacetal, lone pairs on oxygen, which takes a proton to form the corresponding oxonium ion. That is lone pairs on ether to form an double bond with the elimination of water to the corresponding product. This reacts with an alcohol, that is lone pairs attacks this carbon, which neutralizes the positive charge on oxygen to form the corresponding product. This, on losing a hydrogen, we get a corresponding acetal. That is, this bond breaks to form to neutralize this positive charge, we get an acetal. This is the general mechanism for the formation of acetals. If ketone is used as a starting material, then the final product is ketone. The above addition reactions show a solvation of carbonyl compounds with water or alcohols. Other very important nucleophilic addition reaction to the carbonyl group are from nitrogen nucleophiles. The general reaction for nitrogen nucleophilic attack is given below. That is, an amine reacts with ketone in the presence of a dehydrating agent. We get the corresponding imine derivative. If R3 is aryl group, then it is a Schiff base. If R3 is hydroxy group, then it is an oximes. If R3 is amine, then it is hydrazone. If R3 is NHPH, that is aniline derivative, then it is phenylhydrazone. If R3 is 2,4-DNP derivative, then it is 2,4-DNP hydrazone. That is 2,4-dinitrophenyl derivative. If R3 is an urea derivative, then it is a semi-carbazide. All these are examples for N-nucleophilic attack on the carbonyl compounds. Let's see the mechanism. That is, the lone pairs on nitrogen attacks the carbonyl carbon, and this forms a negative charge on oxygen, and 1,3 hydrogen shift takes place. That is, this negative charge on oxygen takes the positive, takes the proton, which shifts this neutralizes the positive charge on nitrogen to form the corresponding alcohol, corresponding hydroxy group. The lone pairs on oxygen takes one more proton from the acid to form an OH2 plus molecule. This, on losing a water, we get an imine derivative. Formation of all this compound of all the above compounds may be considered as a condensation reaction. That is, elimination of water is observed here. Overall, these reactions are classified as oxygen nucleophile, for example alcohol or water, and second one is a nitrogen nucleophile, that is amine or sometimes even azides. The third one, the next important nucleophilic addition are metal hydrides addition to the carbonyl groups, and the most important metal hydrides studied are lithium hydride and sodium hydride. And we all know that Hydrogen exists in two oxidation states, that is +1 and -1. +1 is generally called as proton, whereas -1 is hydrate, which is a strong nucleophile. The metal hydride dissociates as, that is lithium hydride dissociates as Li plus and Li minus in the solution, whereas sodium hydride dissociates as Na plus and H minus in the solution. Coming to the example, let's take an acetophenone as an example. This is the structure of an acetophenone. The carbonyl carbon of the acetophenone is sp2 hybridized. Therefore, this acetophenone, therefore the carbon is trigonal and planar. That is, the structure is trigonal and planar. Therefore, the iodide, since this is a planar molecule, the hydrate can now approach the carbonyl carbon from the two sides, from the top side or else from the downside. If the hydrate ion attacks the carbonyl from the top side, it is called a psi phase. If it attacks the carbonyl carbon from the down phase, it is called a rephase. There is a symbol of psi and rephase. The hydrate can now approach the carbonyl carbon in equal proportions from either of the side. That is, hydrate can attack the carbonyl carbon from both the sides equally. Finally, quenching with water gives the mixture of isomers. That is, we get a racemic mixture. That is, we get an equal amount of R and S isomer. Overall, we get, as I said, we get a DL mixture. Therefore, reaction is not a stereospecific. Let's see what is stereospecific. Stereospecific reaction is a reaction where only one isomer is formed in excess. Such a reaction is also called as an asymmetric reaction. Since in all these reactions we get a mixture of isomer, all these reactions are not a stereospecific reaction. And coming to the next one, borohydrate reaction. The example is a sodium borohydrate. Sodium borohydrate dissociates as Na plus and BH4 minus. Sodium borohydrate can reduce carbonyl compounds. There is a reaction. Acetone reacts with sodium borohydrate, we get isopropanol. Coming to the mechanism, there is a structure of a sodium borohydrate, that is the hydrate transfers, attacks the carbonyl carbon and this shifts to form an O negative with the formation of an negative charge on oxygen and BH3. And again this oxygen, the negative charge on oxygen attacks the BH3 to form the corresponding borohydrate. Here this boron, which has a empty p orbital, so this negative attacks this boron to form an boron anion. This once again, there one more hydride ion which attacks the one more molecule of an acetone to form this corresponding product, and subsequent hydrate transfer, that is a third and fourth hydrate transfer, that is in the third step this hydrate gets transferred, and in the fourth step this hydrate gets transferred, and subsequent quenching with water we get an isopropanol with boric acid. The above mechanism clearly shows that hydrate transfers from BH4 anion to carbonyl carbon. Therefore, one equivalent of sodium borohydrate can in theory reduce 4 equivalents of acetone. That is, you can see a single equivalent of sodium borohydrate is reduced 1, 2, 3, 4 equivalents of an acetone to the corresponding isopropanol. Lithium borohydrate can't be used just because it forms an explosive mixture. Coming to the Grignard reaction, as we know, RMGX is also called as Grignard reagent. This Grignard reagent reacts with an acetone to form the corresponding OMGX. This on treating with hydrogen, that is quenching with water, this salt is formed, which is moved into the water layer. We get an corresponding alcohol. And coming to the alkyl or aryl lithium, which is also called as organolithium, this is a structure of an organolithium, reacts with the acetone to give an OLI lithiate. This on quenching with water, we get a lithium salt which goes into the solution to form a corresponding water layer, corresponding alcohol. Both these Grignard reagents as well as organolithiums are carbon nucleophiles. That is, here the polarity has been reversed. Lithium gets a positive charge, whereas this R gets a negative charge. Hence, these are the carbon nucleophiles. In all these reactions, the attack is either from side phase or rephase. That is, attack is from top phase or bottom phase. Therefore, in all these reactions, a racemic mixture is always obtained. Hence, these reactions are not a stereospecific reaction. Coming to the free radical addition reaction. In all free radical addition reaction, there are important 3 steps. These are initiation, propagation and termination. This isobutylene reacts with HBr. In the presence of a peroxide catalyst, we get an secondary butyl bromide, the formation of an alcohol. Coming to the mechanism, initiation, this is a peroxide molecule. On heating or in the presence of photolite, we get an RO with a free radical. This is an alkoxide with a free radical. In the propagation step, this free radical takes up a proton, that is, this HBr, since it's a polar molecule, it breaks equally with the distribution of equal electrons, each equal free radicals. Hence, it forms an alcohol with the bromine free radical. And in the second step, this isobutylene, this bromide free radical attacks this isobutylene to form a secondary butyl bromide, that is, a free radical is formed here at the tertiary position, and this reacts with alcohol, that is, this bond breaks here with the formation of an alkoxide free radical and hydrogen radical to form a secondary butyl bromide and alkoxide free radical. In the termination, this alkoxide radical forms to form a peroxide, which is formed in the propagation step as well as in the initiation step to form an peroxide. We can regain this catalyst, and this is the perfect example for an anti-Markovnikov's rule. Between anti-Markovnikov's and Markovnikov's reaction, anti-Markovnikov's addition predominates in this case just because free radicals are the most reactive species compared to carbocation and carbanion. The bromine atom in the propagation step 2 immediately adds to the methylene CH2 bearing carbon to form a pteroradical. This pteroradical is stable and can pick up hydrogen from an alcohol. The next one, stability of free radicals, that is, tertiary free radical is stable than secondary free radical, which is stable than primary. Reactivity, free radicals are very much reactive compared to a carbanion, and which is reactive than carbocation. That is, free radical is highly reactive species, whereas carbocation is very less reactive species. Coming to regioselectivity, it is the preference of one direction of chemical bond making or breaking over all other possible directions. Coming to the example, this HBr adds to isobutylene to form a tertiary butyl bromide exclusively, which is a perfect pure Markovnikov's rule. That is, as I said in the statement, hydrogen adds to the carbon which has a more number of hydrogen atoms, and bromide attaches to this carbon to form a tertiary butyl bromide. Here only one product is formed, therefore it is regioselective addition reaction. Coming to stereoselective, it is a reaction where only one stereoisomer is formed in excess. That is, 6 molecules of carbon dioxide reacts with 6 molecules of or 6 equivalents of water to form a glucose, whereas this ketoester in the presence of a baker's yeast in deglucose to form an exclusively a single isomer, that is ketone is reduced to an alcohol. Whereas this geraniol on reduction using this S-binab ruthenium hydroxide, we get the corresponding product, reduced product. That is, this exclusively reduces this double bond and not this double bond. Coming to chemoselectivity, chemoselectivity is a term that describes the ability of a reagent or intermediate to react with one group or atom in a molecule in preference to another group or atom present in the same molecule. That is, chemoselectivity means a reagent which specifically reacts at the specific atom. Whereas coming to sodium borohydride, selectively reduces aldehydes or ketones to alcohols, but doesn't reduce esters, amides or carboxylic acid. Whereas lithium aluminum hydride reduces aldehydes, ketones, nitro group and carboxylic acid group, acids and so on, etc. Between sodium borohydride and lithium aluminum hydride is not selective since it reduces many functional groups. Therefore, reagent has to be chosen very carefully to reduce particular functional group. Coming to the example, this nitroketone on reaction with the sodium borohydride, we get a corresponding alcohol. For this reaction to take place, only sodium borohydride should be used because LAH reduces both the functional groups. That is, if you use LaOH, keto is converted to alcohol and nitro is converted to an amine. Hence, sodium borohydride is used to convert only keto group to an alcohol group. Therefore, this reaction is a chemoselective reaction. In the upcoming classes, I'll discuss about addition to carbon heteroatom and some of the important neighbor reactions. Thank you.